Welcome to Teaching Truth. Night of Miracles is a magnificent cantata written by John Peterson. And as part of his cantata, if you've ever heard it or indeed perhaps been part of a choral group that sung it, you may recall that he has a section in it relating to the wise men. And it goes something like this, that when they saw the star, saw the shining star, they were filled with exceeding great joy. They were filled with exceeding great joy. Undoubtedly, that would have been, I'm sure, the experience back in the day of those wise men when they saw that star and when they came to worship the one who had been born in Bethlehem. And so today, for our 8th lesson in 9 lessons and carols, the 8th lesson takes us to the wise men whom we read of in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2. Let's read the account Matthew sketches for us together. When Jesus was born in the village of Bethlehem in Judea, Herod was king. During this time, some wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and said, "Where is the child born to be king of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard about this, he was worried, and so was everyone else in Jerusalem. Herod brought together the chief priests and the teachers of the law of Moses and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" They told him, "He will be born in Bethlehem, just as the prophet wrote. Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, you are very important among the towns of Judea. From your town will come a leader who will be like a shepherd for my people Israel." Herod secretly called in the wise men and asked them when they had first seen the star. He told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, let me know. I want to go and worship him too." The wise men listened to what the king had said and then left. And the star they had seen in the east went on ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. They were thrilled and excited to see the star. When the men went into the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother, they knelt down and worshipped him. They took out their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh and gave them to him. Later, they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, and they went back home by another route. What's going on in this 8th lesson? Well, this 8th lesson from the Gospel of Matthew tells us about a different group of people. We've thought about the shepherds, we've thought about Mary, but we haven't thought about the wise men who heard the good news about Jesus' birth. These wise men, and there may well have been more than 3, we often assume there's 3 because of the number of gifts. There could well have been more. But these wise men were probably foreign stargazers or star watchers, looking for signs, as it were, in the night sky. And they came to King Herod, the local governor, asking about this new king of the Jews whom they had heard about. And they were following a star in the night sky, which they understood to be a sign. And Herod was a bit rattled by this news because he thought they were talking about someone who was going to overthrow him, and he wanted to know where this so-called king was going to be born. And the wise men tell Herod that this king will be born in Jerusalem in fulfillment of a saying which the prophet Isaiah hundreds of years ago had uttered. Herod tells the wise men to go and find the child and then to come back and tell him where he too can find him. He says he will come and worship the newborn king, but of course, he's no intention of doing anything of the sort. But the wise men, probably because they were wise, find Jesus and offer him symbolic gifts. They didn't just rush down to the local home bargain store or the local Waitrose and see what they could get. No, these were intentional gifts, carefully chosen and selected gifts, relevant gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold, which stands for kingship. Frankincense, which stands for holiness. And myrrh, which stands for sacrifice. Remember the body of Jesus in the tomb. Myrrh was used. And when they leave, when the wise men leave, they are warned that they should not go back to Herod and tell him where they found Jesus. And so they go back home by another route. Let me ask you today, as we look to Christmas in just a few days' time, what star are you following? Are you, as it were, looking into the night sky for some star to appear, for some sign? Look no further than God's word. Look no further than the baby whom the wise men came to worship. That is the star. He is the star, as it were, of the show. Jesus is the ultimate star. The star led the wise men to the star. And look at what the wise men did. They bowed down and they worshipped him, taking out gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When we come to that realization that Jesus Christ, born in that lonely manger in Bethlehem, was born to go to the cross on Calvary for us, the proper response from us is not just at Christmas or at Easter, but throughout the whole year, to bow down and worship him. What can we give Jesus by way of a present or a gift this Christmas? I can think of no better present or no better gift than the commitment of our lives and our service for him. The wise men, because they were wise, knelt down and worshipped. May we, like the wise men, be wise. May we just kneel down and worship Jesus, the baby in the manger, this Christmas, for he alone is worthy.